Water is everything, but its future faces many challenges. There are a number of challenges, but I'll distill them down into two or three. They relate to innovation, the adoption of innovation, and skills. What we need to see is a fully connected, innovative and skilled workforce across the water sector. I think it's all of us. I think it's incumbent on everyone across the sector, not just in the water companies, but throughout the supply chain, through government, through all schools, to look at what's happening across the water sector, to see where it interfaces with everyday life, as well as the provision of water and sanitation systems. And I think it's also critical that the supply chain that the association I represent is a major part of that. I think the supply chain can be not just creative and innovative, but agile, forward-looking, and very reactive to things as they happen. I think they will definitely need a much more open, integrated approach to the water sector. And by integrated, I mean not just seeing the sector in isolation, but where it links into everything from highways, energy, or all the other sectors that you can think of. So it needs to be a fully integrated, more systems thinking approach, and that will help drive a more creative and agile sector going forward. Again, it's got to be a mixture. I would like to see water talked about in a much different way throughout the whole of the education system, from primary schools all the way through to universities. I would like to see water talked about throughout not just what the water companies do, throughout the supply chain, articles in everything from newspapers, online blogs. The very thing that you're doing with water stories, that should go as wide and far as possible. We need people to look at the sector differently. So I'm very supportive of people with ideas from wherever they work. I don't mind if they work in pharmacies, I don't mind if they work in automotive engineering, I don't mind if they work in the arts and creative subject areas. It's bringing different thinking into the sector and not being afraid to allow that thinking to grow and develop. The industry broadly is driven by public health, and I think within that it brings a more conservative approach. I think people want to get things done to deliver the outcomes and objectives, and that tends to be driven by the way things have always been done. I think the forward look that the sector has, the 5-year time horizons, probably don't lend themselves to being agile, don't necessarily allow themselves to bring forward lots of different innovations, and yet there are some great things happening. There are lots of AI systems now being used, virtual reality systems, robotics is being looked at in a different way, but it's the adoption of those that I think is critical, and the sector tends to be conservative, and it needs to take the shackles off basically and be as forward-looking and agile as it can possibly be. The better world for me is one where there's water and sanitation for all. That's the Sustainability Development Goal 6 within the UN. I think it's a brilliant goal. We certainly support it as an association, and we see underpinning that a connected, innovative, highly skilled workforce, and everybody is talking about water at all levels, and they're even having arguments in the pub about it. And together we can get there.